Yes, it has raised over $2 million. It's an adorable little robot that kind of looks a little bit like something from Pixar. It's a media player. It'll track your face. It will communicate via the internet. It's called Jibo, but does it live up to the hype?
Say hi, Jibo.
Hi, Jibo.
Jibo helps everyone out throughout their day. He's the world's best cameraman. By intelligently tracking the action around him, he can independently take video and photos, so that you can put down your camera and be a part of the scene.
Jibo, take the picture.
I mean, this is an always-on web camera with face tracking and an internet connection. Are you really going to put it next to your daughter's bed in the bedroom and have it watching her? I mean, it's just asking for trouble.
Shut it down. All right. There is something intrinsically about robots as a part of the family, though, that has an appeal, surely. There's no way this became as popular as it did without there being a latent desire for something like this out in the wider community, Peter.
Well, I think it's like some of the toys. Remember Baby Born? That was one of those toys that went crazy for kids because it did all motions and things like that. And kids, you know, I think what you imagine is not what you get. There is a role for robots in the household. I mean, my wife keeps buying these robot vacuum cleaners and they're all terribly disappointing. It's too weak. So we do want things around the house. There's a lot of work in Japan about using robots for aged care, and we do even have lifting robots now, which I think is a really good use. But whether they can actually be something that you talk to or converse with kind of reminds me of the Amazon thing. What was that? Amazon
Echo.
Echo, thank you. It sits in the middle of the table and you can ask it questions, like a bit like Siri or the Google, where you can say, "What's the weather like? Remind me to take out the trash," and that's kind of a useful sort of thing. But this idea of actually being a bit humanoid is creepy.
Really? I see, this is the thing that actually struck me. It wasn't the fact that it could do any of the things it can do, because all the technology that it does is all stuff that we kind of already have in one form or another. To me, the anthropomorphized thing and the fact that it had a screen that could... It's not a face, it's also it kind of replicates iconography, but it kind of behaves in an anthropomorphic fashion. I thought that something in that was actually very beautiful and very nicely handled.
I mean, ever since the Jetsons had Rosie, we have wanted to interact with robots. They're like this wonderful mix of a pet that you don't have to clean up after. And they'll do all these things around the house and they'll kind of be your friend. This sort of video is really squeezing into that part of humanity that wants a constant friend there, when really the technology is not there. It's not a friend, it's just an iPad.
Get a cat. I mean, that's what it's for.
At least a cat, at least a cat can move around.
That's a great implementation of it. But I do think that what we're getting to is that smartphones can do all the speech recognition stuff and they get better every few months. The next step is a bit of home automation where your smartphone can control the lights, can do things around the house. Maybe we'll end up with something like the Kevin Spacey character in Moon, which was a robot that could move around the house and do things, and it had voice control. And it's really just like an appliance that is controlled by the same smartphone that you use for everything else.
Really, it looks like the future is just going to be smart objects, your smart refrigerator that we keep talking about, your smart door. It's not going to be someone that will kiss you goodnight or whatever it is that Jibo says to that little girl. It'll just be a door that you say, "Hey, door, close," and the door closes. That is where robotics in the house is going to be. It's going to be incredibly unromantic. And that's sort of the problem. And I think that's why Jibo captured the attention and $2 million. But it's just a waste of money and resources. So people will want this, and the market will keep producing these annoying videos, but it actually just doesn't make much sense in terms of where the technology is heading.
Peter, what would Jibo need to do to be in order for you to actually want to spend money on it?
Well, assuming that the job to be done of this thing is to be company for someone, to be a partner for someone in the house, perhaps an elderly person living alone, you want to give them something that they can interact with. So I guess it would do things like read the news to them, maybe read books to them. It would take telephone calls, make video calls. It would be a kind of a helper in the home. And perhaps if it recognised that the person had had a fall, then maybe it could contact authorities or something like that on their behalf. So it's a few useful things, but I do think that pretending to be human, that game, it works in a short video, but I think you'll see through it, and of course the motions and the eye tracking and all that basically starts to repeat after a while. And I think even someone with a degenerative brain disease, which I'm getting now, we'll see through it very quickly and get frustrated with it because it's not what it promises to be.
All right, there's a whole show where we discuss this and a lot more. Just head over to the RN website. And of course, leave your comments below. Do you think this is something you'd like to buy? Let us know. And of course, make sure you subscribe to the RN YouTube channel. Thanks, guys.